from the Moments 10 pack, Diamond Russell Westbrook. So you guys know I was pretty excited about this card because Westbrook is always just a fun player to use. But the real question is he meta? Is he usable? So I would say any point guard without range extender is inherently an inferior choice to the good guards that are available if he's not above 6'6", right? Because otherwise you could just get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or any of the recent tall guards that they put out if you wanted a guard without range extender, right? Like the two main prerequisites of a point guard, a great point guard, are clamps, range extender. Now, actually, Westbrook technically does have range extender, but he has it bronze, and he has a, well, we're going to look at his shot rating right now as we break them down. But he has it bronze, and he doesn't have the greatest shot rating in the world. Now, he does have a fantastic release, which is very good because it's a very, very greenable release. You can see exactly where the window is. I shot around with Westbrook for a little bit, and it was pretty easy to get into a rhythm with him. Now, you'll see from the title of the video, he has a secret power that no one will tell you about. That is actually not clickbait. So, as I said, if a point guard doesn't have gold range extender and at least gold clamps, he's probably worse than John Stockton, Kyle Lowry, definitely worse than Derrick Rose, Gilbert Arenas, Penny Hardaway, right? So why would you play, especially if he's not 6'6" or 6'7"? So why would you play this card? Well, we all know Russell Westbrook is going to be really fantastic going to the basket. He's got great dunk animations. In fact, his dunk animations are so good that of the recent development in the park scene is to equip his animations and tomahawks only, because his dunk animations are that good that you get like all of the good dunk animations. But that is not the secret power that I'm talking about, and we're going to get into the secret power that I'm talking about. So we'll go into his badges shortly, but the badge that we want to focus on for the purpose for this conversation is Hall of Fame quick first step. And I'm going to, for a lot of people, this will be a teachable moment. So Hall of Fame quick first step, which we can see right here. So that downhill, if the downhill was bronze, it would do the same thing that it does Hall of Fame for Westbrook, because his speed is already so high. You can't run at 130 speed. You can only run at a 99 speed in this game. So downhill is basically, after bronze, it's all overkill, right? Because he's already a fast character. But his Hall of Fame quick first step provides more explosive bursts, first steps out of triple threat and size ups, right? So let's look at the triple threat first. So they're talking about that, right? No big deal. It's okay. That's pretty quick. All right, cool. Hall of Fame for that, not really a big deal. However, when Westbrook is in, now most people are going to back off of Westbrook because his name's Westbrook, so you don't expect him to be able to shoot. He can hit this shot every time, but that's not what's relevant. What's relevant is when people back off of this character from the protect ball dribble, look at the speed of his behind the back dribble. If I can execute it properly while I'm streaming. That's ridiculous. All right, let's try this again. Boom. That is tough to defend, especially because you can do this and call a screen at the same time, right? So you can get into this dribble here, call a screen, and immediately explode out of it. Now, the other thing, so when people back off and they're not reaching, this is where the secret power comes in. Also size ups. So all of these moves, if you guys don't know, so pressing up on the stick is a size up this year. Before, it used to go into a whole bunch of dribbles. Now it only does the one thing. But they're not just talking about this. All of these regular moves right here count as size ups. As Mike Wang said early in the year, you do manual size ups, right? You saw how Westbrook went into an animation there? This is where quick first step is going to apply with Westbrook. Now, if you do this in front of somebody and they start spamming square, they have a good chance of hitting the ball. However, because they're going to back up off of you, you can do this with Westbrook without being bothered. The reason this is super important if you're going to play this character, and I believe in, if you're going to play a card, don't treat them like every other card. Use them for what makes them special. Out of this dribble right here, Westbrook explodes super fast, and I'm going to show you. So if you look here, this is a speed boost, right? Like if I just press forward on the stick, you see there's a little hesitation. So I'm pressing forward and right trigger, and he takes a second to go, right? I'm going to press to the right, and he takes a second to go. But off of this between the legs dribble, as soon as the ball is at hip height, you explode. And he goes right away. Out of this, you can cross over and you can behind the back with full momentum. You can do that all right away. And this can happen literally before people can do anything about it. And keep in mind, all of your regular moves are still available to you out of that. You can go the other way, right? So you have a mix-up with this character because of that Hall of Fame quick first step. His between the legs dribble is actually something very usable. It's actually something you can really use to get past people and to mix people up. So he can snatch back out of it. He can do a simple crossover out of it. He can behind the back out of it. You know, he can keep it there and momentum behind the back out of it. Like he can literally do anything after that between the legs crossover move. And I would advise you that if you're using Russell Westbrook, to put that move in your arsenal and use that Hall of Fame quick first step, because it's something that's going to work really, really well around streams and around screens and everything else. Boom. Immediately forward with that Hall of Fame quick first step. Now right there is the hesitation. So the one thing about this is you have to time it so that the ball is in his hand when he goes, right? This is, I wouldn't say it's a skill move. It's easy to do, but you have to have the timing down, because if you mess it up, he won't explode as fast. So get in with the move and test out the different speeds at which he explodes. Oh, the other thing that's important is the left stick direction. You want to push forward towards the ball hand, towards the basket. So at not quite a 45-degree angle, like 1 o'clock and 11 o'clock, that's what you're pressing when you come out of this dribble, right? So same side, 1 o'clock in that case, and then we'll go the other way, 11 o'clock. Immediately forward, like literally no hesitation. There's so many moves in this game where when you run forward, there's a hesitation. See that? There's a hesitation. Behind the back, he's pretty fast up to behind the back too. That's a good look. But if he double crosses, pretty quick out the double cross. So all of those moves work for Westbrook, right? Like, so his double cross, he's going to launch out of all of these moves. And with Hall of Fame quick first step and his speed and his finishing ability, this is a legitimate tool in his toolbox that puts him above characters who don't have his animations and Hall of Fame quick first step. If you're not playing Westbrook like that, he's really just Derrick Rose without the shooting, which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world, you know, but at this point in the game, there are taller characters that can do his job just as well if you're not using the card for what makes him special. And the Hall of Fame quick first step, in addition to his elite ball handling animations, which we can take a look at here as well. He just has elite ball handling animations across the board. You can see that off of the size up. That was the manual size up. Extremely explosive off the manual size up. Virtually every one of his ball handling animations is elite. So he's just a part character, similar to Oscar Robertson and Kyle Lowry. They all have like truly like a whole park suite of animations. So with Westbrook, you want to use that park suite of animations and really use that quick first step to your advantage. You don't have to left to right people as much with Westbrook. You don't have to, you know, zigzag around the perimeter. That's something you can do, but it is not the way you have to play the character. You can, from around the screen, just put the ball between your legs and go directly towards the basket. You can, you know, put the ball behind your back and go directly towards the basket. He moves a lot faster out of that with his Hall of Fame quick first step. And just for comparison, a character with 86 ball handles, but who doesn't have that, who has much worse animations, would be, let's say, Paul George. Paul George is a great character, right? But off of his between the legs, there's a hesitation. You see that? See that hesitation? Very slow. You can't use that with Paul George. He has excellent ball handles. He can get to the basket, but you almost have to do the behind the back or the momentum with Paul George if you're going to move forward. He's a little quicker going the opposite direction, but going the same direction. That pause right there, right? He doesn't have Hall of Fame quick first step, and he doesn't have Westbrook's animations, so you don't have the liberty to dive directly to the basket off of those standstills the way you do with Westbrook. So my first recommendation is, if you're going to use a card without range extender, use whatever other advantage they may have. And in the case of Westbrook, it's that Hall of Fame quick first step. For other characters, it's like their height or whatever. So let's get into the rest of Westbrook. That sounded inappropriate. To see what the rest of his abilities are real quick. So we went over his shot. He doesn't have the greatest hot zones in the world. These are very Westbrook hot zones. These right here. Which is good for his post step back launch, right? So if you're in the post right here, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's try that again. So if you're in the post, again, a very underrated move that only park people use on the 1v1 court, but it's really good, particularly in triple threat, is the step back hop right here. It's really good for guards and forwards, small forwards, because they have higher ball handles. So if a center has a less than 60 ball handle, he'll probably stumble when he does that move. But for a guard, he can drive out of that move. And if he has quick first step like Russell, he's going to drive even better out of that move. The reason this is important, because when you're in this pose, you can post launch into a dunk. You can post spin, obviously, or you can shoot this jumper, and that's where the hot zones come in. You can shoot that jumper right there. So this is a viable move. How you play out of the post with these smaller guards is you get down here. They should be afraid of the explosion out of the post, right? Like, this is what they're afraid of, because it's hard to move your character laterally enough to deal with that move. But when they're backing off of you, because they're trying to avoid contact, so that they don't get run around, so you don't blow by them off of that, right? They don't want contact. But if they give you contact, you can just kind of immediately pop that jumper in their face, and with his hot zones and his form and his very high mid-range rating, which we're going to get to, that's going to go in like every time. As you can see, it's green every single time. And it's a very hard to contest shot. You guys might notice, if you're ever playing the CPU and you know they're going to fade away 100%, you're holding the stick forward and your character just won't cover the ground, that's what makes guarding the post so difficult with people who really know how to use the post. It's just mechanically hard to move your character to guard it. So if you react late to this, this is a guaranteed shot for him in the mid-range. So when the shot clock's winding down in triple threat, you can go ahead and put Westbrook in the post, even against a bigger guard, and they're going to be more afraid of the blowback because he's guaranteed going to be faster than they are. And when they back off of you and you hit their shot in their face, you're going to feel really skilled and they're going to feel really dumb. So that's a really strong move. Again, super quick going the other direction as well out of the post. So if they bring in a smaller guard like a Lowry or something like that with really excellent defense, Lowry has clamps, but he's not a post defender, you know? So he's not just going to lock you up in that position. So the advantage of a guy like Westbrook with that Hall of Fame quick first step is he can score in multiple ways. He doesn't just have to play into the clamps of the opponent, and that's what you don't want to do. You don't want to play into your opponent's defensive strengths, obviously. All right, and as you can see here, I've nearly greened every single one of those shots. That's how good he is at that shot. So he can go left, he can go right, he can go backwards and straight up, he can go forwards, he can spin, and again, he can even cross over from this position right here, you know, and step back again. You know, he can boom, 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 get him again. So it's a very, very versatile setup for him that I would also recommend with the likes of Kobe Bryant. He can also play that game. And for Carmelo Anthony, if you're having trouble scoring with that card, I would look to that option as well. It's something I've watched hours and hours and hours of footage of people playing this game. I've literally never not once see somebody do that in Triple Threat Online. So that having been said, let's look at the finishing badges. I mean, need we say more? He's basically every finishing badge on gold. So that's what it is. He doesn't have a whole bunch of shooting. Well, he has a lot of shooting badges. He just doesn't have a whole bunch of gold shooting badges. But the ones that he does have are good ones, except for Hot Start. That's trash. Well, Hot Start and Ice in the Veins are trash. But Green Machine is excellent. Quick Draw is obviously super necessary. Hot Zone Hunter on Silver, really, really good for him because of what I just showed you. You saw it's very effective for him. And as a lower rated three-point shooter, it's going to help him a lot in that right corner. So if you're playing Westbrook, try to always get him in that right corner. Try to get him over there as much much as possible, and he'll be a much better shooter than he is. Although he's not a bad shooter, he's just not a good range extender shooter. Volume shooter, also excellent and very realistic for him. The difficult shots, it's okay, but he has a very high mid-range, so it's not super relevant. And the bronze range extender is actually a pretty big deal, because you don't have to be deathly afraid if your toes are off the line, right? If you got floor general and dimer going on for the character, you put a shoe on him, you can pull up, and it's not going to be obviously as high percentage as if you have a pure shooter, but he's not going to be a pure liability either. It's a shot you can make. You just have a smaller margin of error with the timing to make those limitless range shots. Playmaking badges. Extremely important badge for Westbrook is this bailout, particularly because it activates off of hop steps. That's the main thing, and the hop step's going to be your friend with Westbrook. His hop step's amazing, his dunking's amazing. He's going to finish as well as any card of his size in the game, like literally pink diamond level of finishing. That's kind of his superpower, so that bailout is going to help on those late collapses where they're waiting to see you go up. And that's what makes him hard to defend. Gold floor general, really great. Needle threader, really great. Pass fake maestro, worthless in my career, but solid against the AI. Sometimes the AI will move out of position. This is a card that, this is a badge that just affects the AI. It doesn't affect people. It gives you faster pass fakes, but the AI will move for the pass fake more. So when people are off-balling you, you might want to try a pass fake on occasion to get some space and move the CPU off balance. Space creator is very good, works on those hop back moves. Stop and go, the jury's out on stop and go. A lot of people think it's completely worthless. And then the rest of these badges on silver, the tight handles on silver is important too. You'll occasionally get a stun animation. It's much better than not having it. I prefer he had it in a Hall of Fame, obviously, but that's what we got to work with. And defensive badges. It's got a bunch of really good ones. Clamps on gold, which automatically makes him a playable card. Any point guard with clamps on gold and the ratings that he has is a playable point guard. You just know that you're sacrificing not having range extender. And he's pretty cheap on the market. He's running, last I checked, for like between 23 and 28K. So that's a pretty good price for this card. Although there are definitely some rubies and amethyst cards that compete, it's really just that elite finishing with these elite animations that makes Westbrook worthy of a diamond. So let's see, tireless defender, very good. A lot of these rebounding badges or whatever, silver chase down, really good because of his athleticism. When people get past you, you will sometimes get that chase down layup block with this character, which is great. Rebound chaser, again, rebounding is not a primary skill for guards, but what you notice when you have it versus when you don't, right? And even has Intimidator, which makes him a little bit better of a defender than guards who don't have Intimidator, because you don't have to close out quite as close when you have Intimidator. So let's look at his ratings. There we go. 91 mid-range, super excellent. 81 3-point. Now again, this is boosted because of coaches and floor general, but that should be the case with your characters. If you're not running with a good coach and floor general, go ahead and buy a good coach and replace your characters with characters that have floor general. So an 81 3-point shot with his shot rating is a very, very makeable shot. He's not a liability from shooting by any stretch, especially with the release as easy as his. So it's not a card that can't shoot. I think that's the misconception about this card, that I think people kind of don't want to shoot with him. I say pull it. He shoots better than Giannis at base, and Giannis shoots great. So obviously that driving dunk up at a 90, ball handle 96, just incredible dribbling, playmaking, and slashing card, and a solid shooting card. So I was going to run this card even if it was not very good, just for the fun of running Westbrook, but it is good. In fact, I personally, this is a personal choice, not like a meta choice or whatever, but I personally prefer him over Oscar Robertson because of the speed. That's the one concession with Robertson that I don't like, is his speed. Even the stamina, I don't have a problem running a 3-guard rotation, but that lack of speed. If Robertson had range extender, then I wouldn't have made that sacrifice. But if you don't have speed or range extender, Robertson being 2 inches taller is not enough for me to play him over Westbrook. So I sold that card basically with some MT coming back to me, no regrets whatsoever. because of those special powers that I told you guys about early in the video. The Hall of Fame quick first step, if you know how to use it in multiple situations, is a very, very strong tool. Again, 92 vert. Overall, very good card. I don't know why he's quite so cheap for a diamond level card. It might just be the fact that he doesn't have range extender, and there were 3 other cards without range extender that are all like 3 inches taller than Westbrook. But out of all of the cards, I think only Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has any chance of being better than Westbrook. I have to play that card to give a full review, so I don't know if it's better than Westbrook. I've seen some gameplays. I haven't been impressed, but it's from people who don't really, quite frankly, they don't play point guard in the park or the rec. So I'm not going to look to people who aren't going to exhaust all of the possibilities of a card. You know, you got to look at everything. You got to look at their hop steps, their hesitations, all that stuff. You know, all of their dribble moves. These are all the things that make point guards effective. If you took a park player and you gave them bad animations, they'd completely change and they'd know it right away. All right, there are sometimes your park players are going with the wrong crossover or the wrong hezi and be like, I have to get off the spot after this game and put my good animation back on. But in my team, people just kind of look at the badges and the numbers and go from there most of the time. So my recommendation is that you do not do that. Take a deeper dive into these cards and really see what they're good at. So you can see really smooth release, really fantastic animations. I mean, he's Westbrook. He's Westbrook on his best day, basically. You know, that one game where Westbrook goes 4 for 7 from 3, he's that Westbrook. And yeah, if you're into that, then go ahead and pick up this card, especially since he's very good price. He's better than most budget point guards, and he is a budget point guard at less than 30k MT. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned here for coverage of that Spotlight series we have coming up. The #1 Knicks troll in the universe, Richard Jefferson, is the Spotlight Award, so I'm seeing, which is interesting. Is he the worst player who's a Spotlight reward so far? I think so, right? I think every other Spotlight player was a Hall of Famer or, you know, multiple-time All-Star. I think Richard Jefferson is like the first. How many times was he in the All-Star game? Did he ever make the All-Star game even? I know he was a 20-something point a game guy, but that was when everybody at the wing spot was averaging 20-something points or better. So I don't know. It's interesting that he's a Spotlight reward. The thing about him is because he's an athletic player who can shoot, if they juice that card, he can be arguably the best wing in the game because he's 6'6". He's going to have the hops. He's going to have the shooting. So it's just a matter of what does 2K lie about when it comes to his badges, his speed, and his handles. So if they give him an 86+ ball control and like quick first step, he's going to be in that group with Kobe and DeMar and stuff like that. So I'm excited to check that out. Stay tuned here for that. And once again, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you have not already, and peace.